We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they could send us to the morgue. We are the ones who are sent to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. Get off his fucking neck. Love that makes you know he can't fucking breathe. Love that makes you know We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest episode of ImNoBookie, your home for all things combat sports and the place where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. The views and opinions presented on the ImNoBookie channel belong solely to the person expressing them, no one else. If we say it, that means we meant it. That being said, this show does contain adult themes, adult content, and general shit that you shouldn't be letting your kids intake. Be advised, viewer discretion is recommended. Proceed at your own risk. You've been warned. I'm the video game boy. I'm the one who wins. You know what it is. You know where you are. You know what we do. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the ImNoJoe podcast, the show where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. Today, as like most days, I've got a glorious panel here with me to break down, get into the shit talking and shenanigans we have got for you to look forward to in the world of Punchy Kicky. But before we delve into all the fun and fuckery we have got in store for this weekend, first and foremost, gentlemen, how the fuck are you doing this evening?
Another lovely day in paradise. One day closer to Kansas City.
Fuck yeah.
That's how I'm fucking feeling. I mean, I'm exhausted from work, man, but life is fucking good. I'm making crazy fucking money, getting unbelievable overtime. living the fucking dream working in the cannabis industry and finally get to meet you fucking beautiful gentlemen. Can't fucking wait till next week. It's going to be crazy.
Hell yes. Hell yes. Absolutely. Next weekend is going to be insane. It's going to be hard to focus for next week's show, but I'm sure somehow we will struggle right on through it. But first and foremost, before we get into all that fun and fuckery, we've got this weekend's UFC 287, the return to Dade County, the first time since UFC 46 that they have been to Miami. Holy shit, how time flies. But before we get into all that UFC fun, as we like to do around here, start out with a little bit of news and recent events. We've got some fight announcements. We have got some rumors. We have got some interesting shit to go over with you fine folks since we saw you last. And again, we're not doing recaps right now. We may do them again in the future, but right now we are not doing a recap show. If you want to see what happens live that is crazy during an event, keep an eye over on the shorts tab here on the ImNoJoe YouTube channel, because if it is good enough to react to, we do that live on a nice little short for you that is easier to digest than a whole ass recap show. Live words. That being said, there are two little pieces of information that have come out this week that directly tie back to previous weekend's punchy, kicky entries, and I feel that both of them are very relevant to talk about it before we go forward here. First and foremost, fuck Manel Kopp and all of his bullshit fuckery that he started blasting out on social media when they announced that his fight was pulled, because the only thing that had officially been announced was that there was a medical issue backstage and that Alex Perez was removed from the fight and it was too late to find a substitution. There go. Manel Kopp is officially off at the last minute, and he starts tweeting shit about Perez's family being a bloodline of cowards and shit, and just goes off the fucking deep end. Well, guess what, asshole? We found out what fucking happened this week. Alex Perez had a fucking seizure, completely unrelated to weight cutting, backstage, and was caught and taken care of by the staff there, and then subsequently taken to the hospital for follow-up tests, which they are still running, but have determined conclusively had zero result from a weight cut. It was just one of those medical issues that triggered while he was about to go fight. Fuck Manel Kopp for all of that bullshit that he was talking. I understand, literal last minute fight cancellation, you're upset, but there's a way to go about shit like that. There's a certain degree of tact that is expected from a professional of a certain level, and if you are claiming that you are at that certain level, then sir, fucking act like it, is what I am saying. Obviously, with the tests still going, we do not know the full extent of what happened to Alex Perez, and I'm not an Alex Perez fan, but obviously we still want nothing but the best for him to come out from this situation. And just an extra little fuck you, Manel Kopp, you ignorant fucking bastard. I hope that they bench that stupid son of a bitch for the rest of 2023 and let him think about the stupid shit that fell out of his fucking mouth onto the internet when that happened. Tell you how I really feel about it later. That being said, as if that didn't get your fucking blood boiling enough, we got a fucking 2-for-1, folks. We got a 2-for-1, and it got discussed a little bit, but now that the gentleman has been released from the hospital this week, and you know the extent of his injuries resulting from 2 weeks ago's fucking combat sports weekend, excuse me, a gentleman whose name I will not fucking say because I'm not going to give him that type of fucking accreditation, was refereeing a local Texas commission fight on Friday evening, let a fighter get completely choked unconscious, arm drop out fucking cold. The fighter lets go of the unconscious opponent. The referee goes to move around the other side for a quote unquote better look at the action and tells them, keep fighting. To which, luckily, the conscious opponent at which point just threw his leg over and put on a sympathetic armbar, during which the unconscious opponent woke up and tapped to his fucking arm being reaped from out of seeming nowhere, at which point the referee finally stepped in to stop the fucking fight. As if that is not an egregious enough move for a fucking referee in a combat sports match. The following evening, this same gentleman is a judge for the UFC San Antonio card and is part of at least one controversial decision. Luckily, there were no extensive brain damages shown from the individual who got choked to sleep and then fucking armbarred while he was out. Though his elbow was dislocated, it doesn't look like any permanent damage to the arm. Just a little bit of embarrassment thanks to a completely fucking incompetent individual who not only was able to referee, but then the next night sat down on the fucking UFC San Antonio card and input clearly incompetent judging as well. So I, at this point, am all for the UFC just not coming back to Texas until we have some sort of clear and definitive proof their athletic commission knows its head from a hole in the fucking ground. Because right now, it doesn't seem to be able to tell the difference. And it's getting potentially dangerous for fighters to take place or to take part in fights in Texas if that's their standard at this point. That being said, on to less infuriating news. Starting with some good news, we have gotten word from the Cookie Monster herself. Cookie Monster Jr. is officially on its way. She is officially with child, expecting to give birth in early September and hoping to make a return back to MMA before the end of 2024. So obviously, congratulations and best of luck on both of those goals. That being said, equally interesting, but I guess positive news we got this week. Somehow, despite being a professional management company, they were not able to allegedly secure what Paulo Costa's girlfriend and now nutritionist slash manager was able to do in an alleged confirmation from Paulo Costa. The new contract that he has just signed for the UFC now nets him north of $1 million per fight, and he is now one of the highest paid UFC athletes on the roster. I don't know how much any of that sentence I actually believe, but hopefully we can get his dumbass to fight in California and we'll just find out for sure. But a little bit interesting that he's trying to now point out that his new girlfriend turned manager was able to get him a deal with the UFC that a professional management company who works routinely with the UFC was not able to do. So I'm very curious to see how Paulo goes forward from here and if he actually did sign anything, because we still have no bout agreements despite all the shit that he's been talking lately. And for a guy as chomping at the bit as he seems to be, you would think if that contract was signed, there would be another one coming right behind it for a fight. But, you know, Paulo's gonna Paulo, so we'll see how that actually shakes loose. One piece of actual interesting, and I will say this unto itself is a rare thing, a promoter actually staying true to their word despite recent events giving a potential to sway. Scott Coker, even after last weekend's Bellator 293 and that crazy fucking James Gallm fight that everyone kept trying to insist determined the next fight for the belt. No. Scott Coker has kept his wits about him and kept to the word that he said and confirmed that even after the interest that last weekend's Bellator 293 put out, it is official. Linton Vassell, Big Swarm, gets the next title shot against Ryan Bader. So for once, in the rarest of fucking occasions, the MMA gods of Smile Down and the promoter actually followed through on something he fucking said, and now it's just down to watching Big Swarm beat that fucking belt off Ryan Bader and celebrating fucking and new. So good on Scott Coker for actually saying he's going to do something, having an exciting weekend, and then still sticking with what he said he was going to do. A valuable lesson I feel many other promoters can take a note or two from. Fucking him, Dana. Sorry, something in my throat there. Moving on from there, though, we got some very, very choice fight announcements since we saw you fine folks last. And I want to go over just a couple of here to just kind of wet the whistle, as it were, here. First and foremost, the week after we come back from going apeshit live in Kansas City, April 22nd, we'll see two very interesting fights getting added to it very last minute. The first one, Ronnie Yaya, fresh off of the scrapped Cody Garbrandt match, finally getting back in there, taking on Montel Jordan in what could very well be a loser kicks rocks match. Wouldn't be mad to see either one of them go, but still potentially an interesting fight to see either one of them walk out the door through. That being said, the other one that they announced is the one that I think a lot of folks are going to be a little bit more interested in. The confirmed return of Kamaru's brother, Mohammed Usman, coming in to welcome the debuting Junior Tafa, younger brother of Justin Tafa, now also going to be competing in the UFC heavyweight division and going to be welcoming Mohammed Usman coming back off of hand surgery. So that is one hell of a potential Waller slap fight that I might actually be encouraged to pay attention to. But some very interesting matchmaking for such a hangover card, as it were. There we go. 2 weeks later, we now have the official confirmation. The May 13th card will officially be taking place in Charlotte, North Carolina. We also got a couple of fights announced for that Charlotte, North Carolina card. First and foremost, the Dirty Bird getting back in fucking action. Tim Means stepping back into the octagon to take on Alex Morono, and I think that is a spectacular fucking fight for both of those gentlemen. I think stylistically, that one's going to be fun as shit. Then we got a very, very prospectively, oh shit kind of fight here. Jairzinho Rosenstruik versus Jailton Almeida as the main event. That is going to be fucking spectacular. See. There we go. What is that, a full month after that? June 16th, going down in Chicago, the Bellator 297 card added a couple of very interesting fights to it here. First and foremost, Corey Anderson versus Phil Davis will be fucking spectacular. That is going to be a potential wrestle fest with some punches involved in it, but it's going to be fun, I'm sure of it. Then we have got Sergio Pettis taking on Patricio Pitbull for the belt. Words live can trip sometimes. Pitbull going to be a two-time double champ and Bellator's potential first ever 3-division belt holder if he can get past Sergio. A tough fucking order nonetheless, but if he can do it, that is some fucking history to cement with his damn name. Very interested to see how that one goes. That is going to be the main event. But the co-main event is going to be Vadim Nemkov versus Yoel Romero. So holy fucking shit, hang on to your balls. That Bellator 297 card is just going to be stacked from the floor to the goddamn ceiling with fucking craziness. And I'm fucking here for it. Chicago is in store for a hell of a card. The following day, June 17th, at, of course, because the UFC location TBD as of right now, most likely the Apex. Very interesting headliner added to the card as of just this afternoon. Josh Emmett and Ilya Topuria to headline. Holy shit, sign me the fuck up. I'm definitely interested to see how that fucking fight plays loose. 5 rounds for those boys to get crazy. Yeah, I'm definitely in for that one. The week before that, I forgot. That's why I wrote that out of order. Week before that, June 10th, UFC 289. Again, as of right now, location TBD because UFC. A fight that I think most people in the combat sports world are going to be very interested to see how it shakes loose here. 50K Dan Ige himself stepping in with the Nate Landwehr on the pay-per-view card. I'm fucking here for it, baby. I'm fucking here for it. Nate Train action on the pay-per-view. And I tell you what, if he gets past Ige, there's a real short list of motherfuckers in front of him that are going to be holding him up from getting a shot at that strap. So it's getting real hard to ignore the Nate Train if you're the UFC brass. That man is just tearing his fucking way through and doing it in spectacular fashion. Last one here. UFC veteran George Soteropoulos. If you've been a fan of the UFC for any amount of time, you have heard Joe Rogan mention his name a million times. George Soteropoulos was an early days UFC fighter, has not competed in any form of combat in over 9 years now. At the age of 46, is going to fight May 26th down in Australia, stepping back in the cage, looking like $1 million fucking doing it. It's never too late if you've still got it, apparently. Man can still form sentences and still bench 275. Let him fucking go. Give him a gum shield. Get out of his way.
I hope so, man, because I remember watching him fight. He always had fucking solid fights. He was never in a boring fight. I'll give him that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was never something you would sneeze at. He wasn't an intermission fighter.
It's great. Us old heads are fine. There's a little bit of light there, especially you take that long of a leave of absence from the sport. Tells me you got all your shit back together, and you're just doing it for fun at this point.
Yeah, exactly. This, I don't think he's anticipating making any kind of a title run or having any kind of a 10-year resurgence or anything. But at this point, this is 100% a confirmation. This man loves fighting. Good on you, Geordie boy. And then we will get to probably the largest announcement in the combat sports world since we saw you folks last. UFC parent company Endeavor has officially purchased the WWE with intentions to create a new subsidiary company merging the UFC and the WWE in promotion and budgeting and things like that. Although we have been assured, is for what that's worth, I say, staring directly into the camera blankly for those of you listening, from both Vicente McMahon and Dana White, that there will be no sort of crossover shenaniganry going between the two, that the merger is strictly just on the business side of things and has more to do with the marketing and budgeting than it does the actual day-to-day operations. The gentleman who is currently in charge of everything WWE will stay in charge of everything WWE. Dana White will stay in charge of everything on the UFC side. Ari Manuel will still continue to basically run the world of combat sports from behind a WME desk. So I'm not really sure, all in all, what to think about it as a whole. I will say this, that it basically does ensure that there will be more marketing money behind the UFC promotions going forward. Whether any of that actually transitions into fighter pay increases, I highly doubt. Whether it gets us back to a reasonable amount of fights every month that we can enjoy instead of upping the number of fights like it's probably going to do. I highly doubt, but you know, fingers crossed, new ownership, new opportunities, new budgetary restrictions or lack thereof. So, you know, we can hope. We can hope, and then when it falls to shit, we'll say, well, we knew it. But in the meanwhile, we can hope. But unfortunately, that brings us to the last thing that I've got for the news and recent events this week, and that is that we have to continue to hope that one of these weeks I'm going to be able to end my news segment without saying that once again we have managed to make it through another show where Dana White has yet to be held accountable for openly slapping his wife down in Cabo San Lucas on New Year's. And no, despite him trying to say so, having to live with the knowledge that he did it is not subsequent punishment enough. So unfortunately, that's how we wrap up the news once again this week. But either of you gentlemen have anything that I might have missed that is relevant more than Dana's stupid ass?
Did I zone out and miss? You talked about the leech pulling out of this weekend, right?
No, his back injury. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he had a spinal cord injury.
Oh, yeah,
By the
hopefully
looks of
not.
the single image that he posted on of the MRI, it looks like he bruised his spinal cord.
Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't look like it's anything
Like there was no
life-threatening, anything
severing or anything like
career-ending.
that, but
Yeah,
definitely
but
something you can't fight with.
yeah, you can't fuck around with that. Like, you can't play with spinal injuries and then climb in a cage like that.
Which
So
that was a
yeah,
bummer because I was really looking forward to watching the leech this weekend, but
would have been a great fight. I agree.
And the only thing I had was like some bummer news too. Chris Barnett had to pull out of his fight against Chase Sherman, so we won't
yeah,
see
that
the
one
Undertaker.
and that one was a huge bummer because I love me some Chris Barnett. There's nothing I love more than an athletic fat guy who knocks people out and then does a flip and lands on his
I was
ass
gonna
after
say,
he
and then
wins.
front flips it. Yeah, yeah. No, I was so looking forward to seeing that, but they did find a replacement fighter for Chase Sherman though, so we will see how he does against a last minute opponent replacement as well. We'll
If
see.
he doesn't, he'll probably get walking papers.
Right. Oh, that being said though, that'll bring us to the point where, you know, sometimes when you've been watching Punchy Kicky as long as some of us have been watching Punchy Kicky, you tend to get a little set in your ways. And sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. And when it comes to learning about new and up and coming fighters, that is definitely a bad thing. But luckily, see, words live. Luckily for us old heads, we happen to know ourselves a bona fide young person here who does keep up with all the new up and comers and the folks that we should and shouldn't be wasting our time paying attention to in a little segment that we get to refer to here as slows, cans, and contenders. If you would, sir, because I'm saying.
Thank you, appreciate it. All right, so to start with the cans, there's a lot of them, right? I mean, if I wanted to, I could go through, probably list off maybe 8. I feel like off this whole card, but just obvious ones. You can just throw them right in the can. I like Chase Sherman, but he's not a good fighter. 16-11 is a record. The nickname's fantastic, Vanilla Gorilla, but he's not a good fighter. And throw him in the can, and you got Michelle Watterson. She got a good nickname, and she's got good looking. She matches the karate hottie, but not a good fighter. Then on the main card side, yeah, I gotta say Kelvin Gastelum. He just has been awful as of late since getting that tough loss against Izzy. I mean, he went to war against him. It was a great fight. He definitely lost, and he just hasn't been the same kind of guy since. He hasn't even put up a competitive fight, in my opinion. He's had to pull out of multiple fights in the past year or so. I don't think this one's going to go good for him against Chris Curtis. So we're just going to have to throw him the can. He might have to throw it away. Jorge Masvidal as well, I'd like to throw in there, especially if he loses this weekend. But I know the superstar aspect, it's kind of like Connor. He could lose and it still doesn't even matter. Even if he says he's done and shit, he probably gets paid so well, he would keep fighting. On the contender side, I don't like the kid, but obviously you got to put Raul Rosas in there. The 18-year-old. The biggest thing I don't like is that he's on the main fucking card. But undefeated 18-year-old in the UFC looked okay in his debut. He did get the finish in the first round. I don't think there's anything super spectacular about him. He's really good at jiu-jitsu, obviously. We haven't seen much out of him in the sense of striking and on the feet. So we'll just see how he does again in his second outing in the UFC. But throwing him in there just because the youth, right? I really don't like they're putting him on the main card though. You got a young lady I didn't even know was on the card at all until this week when I did my notes. Jacqueline Amorim is 6-0, all 6 wins by finish, 5 of them by submission. She's making her UFC debut against a can. Sam Hughes. Like I said, I could have given you more. Yeah, I just did. 7-5. I think this is looking good for this young lady. I mean, probably none of you have heard of her at all. I hadn't. So Jacqueline Amorim, we're throwing her in the contenders. We'll see how she does in her debut. And then the last contender I got on here, I know you guys don't necessarily like him either. Joe Pyfer. Younger than I am, and 10-2 record has looked good since the contender series. That's the best that I can say, right? He had a couple of knockout wins on the contender series and in his debut. This is what's really going to show if he has some full-on fighting ability, right? He's fighting Gerald Meerschaert. This is going to be a good one. If Pfeiffer's got any actual talent and skill other than a potential lucky punch, right? Or maybe you just see that again. The hatred continues to boil over for you guys if he just gets another lucky shot and knocks out Meerschaert. Yeah. But that's it for me. Like I always like to do, throw it off to you guys. If you got your own contenders or kids this weekend here.
All right. Before I answer that question, the first question I need to ask, how the fuck are we friends? That bullshit. Joe Pfeiffer and fucking Raul Rosas Jr., both fucking cans. There's the fucking cans right off the get-go. Raul Rosas doesn't even deserve to be on the fucking prelims. He deserves to be on the early prelims. That's it. He doesn't deserve a main spot. Fucking Joe Pfeiffer can go fuck himself with a big black dildo. Fuck that guy. Now, outside of that, for can, if I'm going to pick a can other than those two obviously low-hanging fruit, I'm actually going to go against what everybody is going to say here, and hate me or not for it, but solely this fight alone, I'm going main event here. In this fight, just this fight itself, I'm not talking overall, I'm saying Izzy, because I think we have found Alex Pereira to be his kryptonite. That's Izzy's kryptonite right there in Alex Pereira. That's just how it is. So yeah, he's going to look all right for a little while, but chances are he's probably going to get finished again. As much as I hate to say that, I'm calling it as calm as he looks all week, talking about he's going to settle the score, all that shit. I don't believe it. We got to go. He's 0-3, twice in kickboxing, once in MMA. It may be his kryptonite. Every fucking fighter has one. Look at it. Every fucking fighter known to man, there's always one guy that is always in their way. I have to say Izzy for this one. And I fucking feel terrible saying it because I fucking love Izzy. But I think this is maybe that spot where we finally get a change of the guards, albeit temporarily, because the second they put him up against a fucking grappler, he's fucked 6 ways from Sunday. I'll say that out loud. But in all seriousness, though, yeah, at this point, Michelle Watterson needs to give it up and just needs to go home and be the karate hottie mom. The goddamn, be the hottest soccer mom you can be. That's all I can say at that point. And now as far as be on the lookout, as always, fucking Kevin Holland, baby. Be on the lookout. Outside of the fuckery he had with Hamzat there in that last minute bullshit, Holland's a dangerous man. Not to mention, we almost got a free fight between him and Jorge at one point this week. So I'm just saying, watch out for Kevin Holland. That's that hidden gem there. To be honest, I think Kevin Holland and Santiago Ponzinibbio have a good chance at a good solid fight of the night. Possible dark horse there. But again, how the fuck are we friends?
I'm trying to be unbiased. I'm going by like undefeated. And
I'm being unbiased. Those dudes are legitimately fucking cans.
They have potential. That's the only reason I throw them in the
Yeah, they have the potential to be dented. Oh, wait a minute. Rosas is already fucking dented. You looked at his face, looks like he got hit with a cast iron frying pan.
Beep, beep. No, I absolutely agreed. The fact that Rosas Jr. is comparing himself being on the main card to Bo Nickel, who has literally headlined MSG on his own prior to even being offered a UFC contract, is laughable. So for that, amongst many other reasons, no, fuck Raul Rosas Jr. But I will say, my contender of the week is a dude who I don't hear hardly anybody giving any fucking shine to, and it seems a little bit weird, but Ignacio Bahamondes, like, that motherfucker is a tiny little firecracker, and he is fighting Trey Ogden, who we have seen matched and fallen out of at least a half a dozen fights so far, and it's only the first week in April this year. So I don't know if he is even a real fighter at this point or just like an AI generated Dust and Diamond recreation. But I know Ignacio Bahamondes is one of those young dudes who seems to be allergic to boring fights. He breaks out in fucking punches, and I love those dudes. So he is absolutely on my fucking contender list for this week. Ironically enough, though, my can is the other half of the ladies' fight. Luana Pinheiro has done absolutely nothing to deserve the karate hottie as a sacrificial fucking lamb on a pay-per-view card. Like, this is a potential name-making fight. If you come out here and just crush on a 40-year-old fucking Michelle Watterson, you could springboard into some type of a significant run for yourself. And there has been absolutely zero in Pinheiro's fucking resume up to this point to warrant getting that type of a sacrifice put out before her. So I'm just wondering if she's got like a secret OnlyFans that only Dana gets access to or something. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
I like the Bahamondes call. I really do. That's a fucking. There's something about anybody whose name is Ignacio, and you gotta fucking give it to them because they're going to defend somebody's honor and somebody's going to die. And well, when you're facing Screech, there's not a whole lot to say except for when's he gonna end up in jail and then when's he gonna make a porno.
No,
I like that.
at this
I like
point,
that.
I'm not even 100% convinced that Trey Ogden is a real person because we keep
Yeah.
seeing him matched up. I don't know that we've ever actually seen him climb in the cage yet, though. So
No, I think
He's
it's
apparently 1-1 in the UFC.
he's he's apparently one of those mythical beings. I think he thinks he's a dire wolf that don't actually exist. Or,
something, dude, something.
But yeah, I'm excited for that fight. So that was a damn good pick. We'll see how it works out, though. We'll see if we're right. It was Rosas and Pfeiffer looking like cans or contenders, yeah.
looking
That's
like
the big
dented
debate.
cans. And like I said, one's already dented. It's just a matter of time before he gets broke the fuck open.
Right.
Ends up in the return to sender bin. Hopefully, mom's fucking minivan can pick you up from the hospital.
Right. All right. Well, that being said, that'll bring us to the segment that requires its own individual disclaimer. Tapology.com does not in any way, shape, or form endorse, support, or sponsor the I'm No Joe podcast.
Yet.
That being said, Tapology.com does offer you the ability to create a free account and make your picks on fights just like we do here on the show. We've even created a group open to the public on Tapology.com called ImNoBookie, all one word, or Group 965, however you need to search it. It is open to the public. You are more than welcome to create an account, join the group, and put your picks head to head against us in a segment that we review in a little thing we call Tapology with TJ.
Oh boy, where do we start with this bunch of fuckery? I'm gonna start at the hard end of the stick here this week, and by hard end I mean really fucking soft. We're going right into our last fucking week's picks before we had the week off, which would have been the VeraVsSandhagen fight night there back on March 25th, so 2 weeks ago. Now, for the first time in I don't think this has ever happened to me, and I don't think it's happened since we've started this fucking group. I literally took the bottom slot fucking again 2 weeks in a row. I not only decided to trip over my dick, I stepped on the ball sack, spread those bitches apart, used them as a fucking jump rope, double Dutch style. It's fucking bad. 2 weeks in a row. I was less than fucking. I was right at 50%. 5 picks. Now, that being said, my brother over here, Christian, who thinks Pie Face is gonna be a contender, also only had 5 picks right. The only reason he got me, he had one semi-perfect pick over me. Otherwise, he would have been in that bottom spot. So fuck you and your Pie Face picking bullshit. Now, with that said, that's gonna bring us to who's on the fucking top of the pile over here. We got, let's see. Let's go from the bottom up. Don't do this often, but just above Christian, we got Don. Just above Don, got Joe Rogan's hairline, aka the meter. Just above that, you have Donna. And what's funny? Oh no, I take that back. I did not strip over Nick. I thought fucking Vinny won this week. No, Vinny got it this week at the fucking 5 picks. I got him by 1 decision pick. So, well, between me, Vinny, and Christian, we all took the bottom spot. So take that back. I didn't win the sole decision. Vinny got me. Way to go, Vinny. Thanks for covering my ass this week. Appreciate you, brother. But no, Donna coming in hard with the fucking strong hand, teaching Don that he is not the king of the castle again. We know who wears the pants in that family. Just saying. We know where Don was getting all of his insight picks from. it definitely wasn't an inside source. It was his wife. Way to go, Donna. Congratulations. Way to kick ass, take names, and have all the reason to talk shit through the rest of the weekend. Hopefully you do it again this week, so that way I have a whole fucking 18 hours in the fucking car to and from Kansas City to talk shit. But
Much as I would love to let the glory just go and bask over the household, I would encourage you to look at the actual scores one more time for the
shit,
top.
you guys are tied. Well, still, you can by according to the way they have it laid out here. Donna does technically have the lead over you, just by the way they have it ranked up.
Yeah, in alphabetical order.
Huh?
In alphabetical order, yeah.
Hey, alphabetical order, it counts. Should have chose a better fucking username. But yeah, no, you're correct. It is 450 and 450. I was just looking at the fucking where everything fell. But I could have sworn Vinny was up there. Maybe it's because Vinny was kicking ass the last 2 weeks. I don't
It's
know.
because on the PFL card last weekend, Vinny mopped the fuck out of everybody.
That might be
Vinny
where
was in,
everything
like,
got me all fucked up.
yeah, Vinny was in like the top 15 for the fucking website last weekend for PFL. He was
Yeah.
just swinging his gigantic dick and knocking everybody's head off with it. Yeah, it was glorious, dude. He was fucking taking
That
it
must
easy.
have been his comeback after the UFC fight, and I'm not mad at him. Way to
Yeah,
pick
he was
yourself
just
up off the floor, man.
taking domes off with it, dude. It was glorious.
And
to
thanks for
behold.
saving me from 2 weeks. But either way, you all get the fucking gist of me still fucking double dutching over my dick that far down on the fucking bottom. I'll say it's been a long time since I've been in the bottom half 2 weeks in a row. Usually I'm pretty solid, but although we had to, there is an asterisk next to last week's card because there was a lot of fuckery that went on with that March 25th card. So to everybody's credit, I'm sure picks would have been a lot differently had there not been so much fuckery going on there with changes in fights and things like that. But either way, remember, this is all in fun. So it really doesn't fucking matter. We just get to talk shit to each other. Have a good time. Know that you can always pick yourself up off the canvas, roll your dick back into your pants or vagina lips if you have those, whatever it is, whatever deity you fucking roll out to. Just know it's all in fun. But there are bragging rights. So please, by all means, come in, take that top spot. And feel free to correct me if you see you're tied for the top spot, even though your name in alphabetical order falls below the person who is at the top spot technically. Just saying.
Right. Damn right. I see Donna's gunning for me. Trust me. I watched those fucking numbers. I know Donna's got that little fucking
She's
red
fucking
dot floating
absolutely.
across the back. She got a red dot floating across the back of my fat head. I am well aware. Trust me.
She's fucking killing it. She really is. Like since she's come into the fucking fight night leagues here with us, absolutely murdering it, staying consistently at the top. That lady's doing her research and making some great picks. Fucking, I'm very impressed. So, but know that you too can do the research and make great picks. Come in here, talk shit to us. By all means, please do so. It makes it a lot more fun. Credit where credit is due. And credit where credit is due when you trip over your dick. That's it. I even call myself up. I don't fucking care. Doesn't matter. I'm an equal opportunity hater. That's how that works. Everybody gets hate from me. But y'all get love at the same time. So with that being said, that's going to bring us into this week's pay-per-view event, where we have Adesanya and Pereira as the main event. Now, contrary to what I just said in the cans section there, I do love fucking Adesanya, and to be honest, I really hope he wins. But like I said, there is kind of that fucking iffy kryptonite area that I'm kind of seeing that kind of tall tale spin on. Now, with that being said, I'm going to start right there with the main event this week because that one's kind of interesting. They literally have it a fucking coin flip right now. It's and the best part of this coin flip, they have the current champ as a plus 115 underdog to Adesanya coming back as a fucking minus 135 favorite, which, ironically enough, he was the favorite in their last fight. If this happens now, I think what we'll see is a huge shift in the way that they bet on fucking Pereira if he wins. you'll start seeing lopsided odds with him very quickly because they'll be like, oh my God, he took out a god of fucking the middleweight division. And to be honest, we all know he has not fought a grappler yet, and not a good grappler. So I mean, we'll see where the chips land on that. But that was the one I did want to mention first because it is pretty crazy to think that they still have that as a coin flip, even though I think they could widen those odds just a touch. I'm not saying a lot. I'm not saying a lopsided, but definitely could widen them a bit. Now, with that being said, let's go to our wide fucking margins on the card because most everything is a fucking coin flip on here between minus 115 plus 135-ish to minus 225s plus 185s, somewhere in there. So it's kind of coin flip-ish. There's only a couple that stand out currently. And that is going to be the Chase Sherman Carl Williams fight. Listen to this shit. Short notice Carl Williams gets a minus 400 favorite over a plus 310 Chase Sherman, aka they think Chase Sherman is fucking trash, which can't say that I'm mad about because that's how he's been fighting even after getting his second fucking birth. Or was it his third birth or whatever the fuck birth it was? It's fucking bad. Now, not the widest margin on the card, but definitely one of the most notable being is that's a short notice fighter. Widest margin on the card actually goes to the co-main event. Gilbert Burns and Jorge Masvidal. They've got Gilbert Burns as a minus 450 favorite to a plus 360 Jorge Masvidal. Which makes sense, because to be honest, Jorge hasn't looked that great in a couple of fights. I mean, so this is going to be his shitter get off the pot moment. And to be honest, I think he's already planning on getting off the pot because he said it, if I lose this, I'm done. And when you start talking about it, that generally means you are about it. Because, and look, he doesn't need any help. The dude is fucking, at this point, he's fucking loaded. He's set for life. He's damn near got generational wealth at this point, especially now with his whole tequila franchise and everything else. Only thing he's got to worry about is the bullshit fuckery with Colby Covington, who is absolutely still a bitch. I'll say it. Fuck that guy. Still a bitch. And I really think it's really going to fuck with your whole I'm fucked up in the head thing to come in and fight for a title. Get fucked. Get absolutely fucked right in the asshole. Go die in a fire.
I will say that both Gilbert and Masvidal booing at Dana White confirming that Colby is getting the next title shot during the press conference. Both of them picking up their microphone to boo at Dana White while he was saying it was fucking definitely applause worthy.
Definitely applause worthy for that. And what's crazy is those two have actually, there's no beef between those two. They've been pretty fucking, I mean, don't get me wrong. They're leading up to a fight, so yeah, they're talking trash, but not in the I fucking hate this guy. They've given respect where respect is due. I mean, so that one's going to be a fucking great fight. And I mean, even the other fights on the card that I think were noteworthy to talk about the splits, they're not big enough splits to talk about. Although there is one that I'm going to say 100% bet on this underdog, even though it's not a great split. I'm going to say bet GM3 over Joe Pfeiffer, because they do have Pfeiffer as a minus 200 favorite, which I think is fucking bullshit. That dude, another trash can dumpster fire who can jump in front of a fucking semi-truck and start himself on fire. Nobody would care. So that's definitely one bet on the underdog. Don't bet on Chase Sherman. You're going to lose fucking money, even though he's a heavy underdog there. The only other notable wide margin fight on here, the one that Meter spoke of earlier. Ignacio Bahamondes and Trey Ogden. Yeah, Bahamondes as a minus 350 favorite over a plus 275 Screech Powers. So, you know, just saying. It's out there for a reason. Don't fight on somebody who doesn't, or don't bet on somebody who actually never fights and is just a glitch in the matrix. It's not a good idea. You're gonna have a bad day. You should have fucking pizzaed, instead you French fried. You have that. Everything else on the card, pretty close to just coin flip odds. Nothing that you're gonna make a lot of money on this week. No crazy wild upsets that can make you a lot of money, where you can bet $10 and possibly make a couple hundred. None of those this week. But yeah, most importantly, join the fucking group. Come in here. It doesn't cost money. It's free. And we can talk shit at the end. So come enjoy it with us.
Hell yeah. Always a good time. Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. So that will bring us to the point in the show that, unfortunately, those of you who are only listening to the audio version might not get to appreciate as much as those of you who are watching us over on youtube.com/ImNoJoe, because you will at this point know by the vicious and terrifying gif that is rolled across your screen that this is the point where the fun and friendly stuff gets pushed to the side. This is the moment where the hee-hees and the ha-has get pushed back to the motherfuckers and the goddammits, because this is the point where the fun gets pushed out the window and things get a little competitive in a segment that we like to call The Pit. This evening, we are going a throwback, if you will. Ironic that we even have to call it that, but we are going old school for The Pit, as it were. We're going to have two classic champions reigning against each other in our pit. We have got Golf Tee and Slow Bake going head to head once again. So, gentlemen, are you ready for some pit action this evening?
I am ready indeed.
That didn't sound too thrilling. You sound a little nervous or tired or something.
Oh, I am definitely tired.
There you
Ready
go.
to attempt
Much
to whoop
better.
your ass.
All right. Be careful, because by the end of this, you're going to look like Raul Rosas with that flat face.
All right, so Christian, we'll let you call it. Heads or tails?
Tails, I like ass.
It is tails indeed.
Oh, what do you know?
So, would you like to go first or second, sir? I will give you the prerogative for winning the coin flip.
I'm going second.
All right, so Golf Tee is up to kick things off. First question goes to you, sir. So, as we like to start things off around here, on every card, there's always one fight that just does not get the love that we feel it deserves. One fight that when it starts, you have got to get the attention of everyone within earshot and let them know this is where your attention needs to be for the next 1 to 15 potentially minutes, maybe 25 if it's the main event, I'm just saying. But this is the fight that we like to refer to as that fight, the one that just needs more love. So which one would you choose for that, sir?
Well, the one that I still don't think has gotten enough press, only press it's gotten is between two guys that aren't even fighting each other. Kevin Holland and Santiago Ponzinibbio. That's going to be a fight worth fucking watching. And to be honest, I don't think you're going to want to miss that one. Because I have a feeling, by the way Kevin was talking, there's a little bit of pent-up aggression there. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot of talking both inside of the octagon with his mouth, as well as with some hands and fucking feet. Just saying, you don't want to miss it. Anytime Kevin's in the fucking octagon, it's well worth a watch. He's not getting the amount of airtime that he should. They're giving it to fucking people who look like they got hit with a hot bag of nickels instead of fucking the people who actually deserve it. So by all means, set down everything. Come watch a Kevin Holland fight.
I can absolutely agree with that. They don't call him Big Mouth because he doesn't know how to promote a fight, even if he's the only one that's promoting a damn fight. So I can absolutely agree with that. That'll bring us across the octagon, as it were, to you, sir. So, Mr. Slowbake, in this our glorious return to Miami for that 287 card this weekend, there has got to be one fight that you see that just is not getting the love it deserves. That when it comes on, you've got to make sure everyone around is paying attention. So for you, sir, what would you call your fight of the weekend?
Well, not everybody's got the money to pay for those damn pay-per-views, so I'll give you a card that's on the prelims compared to the main card. You guys have touched on it, right? And nobody else is talking about it, but you guys have given it some love. The Ignacio Bahamondes versus Trey Ogden fight. I feel like, like you said, Trey Ogden seems like he's never really existed. But if he actually shows up to fight, he's at least a tough motherfucker. Maybe not a great fighter, but he's a tough motherfucker. He's a local guy. So I always like to root for local guys, but I like Ignacio at the same time. It's going to be a fucking fantastic fight. Probably the best fight on the prelims, if you really think about it, because I don't see much out of Kelvin Gastelum. I want to throw that Chris Curtis Gastelum fight out there because I always want to hold on to that hope. We'll see some flicker of Gastelum of old, but I think that's long fucking gone. So Ignacio Trey Ogden fight for sure. If you were going to try to yell at mom or anybody, get that fucking free fight and get probably the most exciting on the prelims.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, there's a reason I called that motherfucker out earlier. Like that for my money is the best thing that they've got going on that early prelim card. I agree. Both fights are not getting the love that they deserve for damn sure. Good point on both you gentlemen for mentioning those fights. Round one here, though, I am going to have to give the point to the brother Slowbake. And I will say it is not just for the semi-low hanging fruit of going back to the pick that I mentioned earlier, but for the fact that he not only did that, but also added the value factor to it. Because a lot of people, he is 100% right, are not going to be able to chunk down that fucking $69 or $79, whatever the fuck they're charging for pay-per-views.
You're right. They just got to pay for Fight Pass because it's on the early prelim.
Yeah. No, we will give points for round one here to the brother Slowbake. So flip things across the proverbial octagon, as it were. Slowbake, you will get this one first. So if every card has one fight that just has everybody's or doesn't have anybody's attention that we have to shout out, then there is obviously going to be one that everyone is giving hype and it does not deserve. So for you, sir, what is the overhyped fight of the weekend? The one that folks could say used to go refresh their drinks or turn their crank, should we say?
All right. Like I was trying to say earlier in my personal segment, I try to be unbiased with my picks. Just because I picked Raul Rosas as a contender doesn't mean I like the kid whatsoever as a person or a fighter, or am rooting for him or want to see him succeed, right? This is the beyond belief overrated fucking fight. Putting this kid on the main card, he shouldn't even be on the prelims, should be on the early prelims. One of the first few fights of the night. He's 8 years old. He's had a handful of fights professionally. He's really only been able to show that he's good at jujitsu. He can't even wrestle to get a takedown to then try to initiate the jujitsu. We've seen literally nothing from the kid in the sense of striking. I'll be absolutely honest, right? Even if I throw him in the contender, this is absolute shit. It's absolute horse shit. They're overhyping this kid. He was on the fucking press conference. What the fuck kind of shit is that? More than you put him on the main card. Hey, let's give him spotlight through the entire fucking week. You give him media day. Let's throw his dumbass on the press conference. This is ridiculous. Who's Christian Rodriguez either? He's a 25-year-old, 8-1. He's got some finishes, but in reality, what do we make of that guy? I mean, this fight is ridiculous. It could literally be on a regional card this kid could be on a developmental contract with how young he is. It's all still ridiculous. We've talked about it ever since last fucking year when Dana White gave him the contract. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Beyond belief over fucking hyped. I will second the fuck Rosa students. Even, you got to be unbiased. Pick the contender just because the stupid kid's so young and undefeated, right? Ain't no contender like Bo Nickel, though. He's full of fucking shit. I definitely fucking hate the motherfucker.
Yeah, no shit. No shit. All right, well, that'll bring us back across the octagon, as it were, over here. So, Golf Tee, every card obviously has one fight that just doesn't get the love it deserves, and that means that subsequently there is one fight that everyone is paying attention to for no goddamn good reason. For you, sir, which is that overhyped fight of this 287 weekend?
You know, I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna go after that low ass hanging fruit. But I don't have to. For this reason. If you're gonna backtrack on what you said earlier and calling the kid a contender and then just all of a sudden calling him a can, I don't have to fucking pick a fight here. You've already scored me the points by backtracking on your own fucking words.
Don't
You
put
can't call
words in my
somebody
mouth.
out.
I didn't call him a can. I said I hate him and he's a fucking piece of shit. There's a
That
difference.
same fucking thing. Same fucking thing. Potato. I don't care which fucking way you slice it. You can still put butter on that some bitch and sour cream and it's gonna be good. That's how that, whatever you want to fucking call it. But in this case, that motherfucker belongs in the trash. But no, in all seriousness, I agree 100% on that one. But I do appreciate you backtracking and showing why maybe you're not quite as unbiased as you think you are. So I'm going to say one that's gotten more hype than it deserves, though. Rob Font and Adrian Yanez. To be honest, I do not think that a Rob Font coming off of a fucking year of no fights, fighting Yanez, who, to be honest, has looked decent. They're basically going to give Rob a little ring rust wash off there, and pray to God he holds up. Otherwise, we're just getting a fucking Yanez who gets blasted into outer space for no fucking reason. Which, fucking bullshit, because, you got a Rob Font sitting 6. I'm glad they're giving him somebody underneath him so he has a chance, but that long layoff there to get shit right, not always a good thing. And by the looks of him, his head is not in the right space for this fight, so it's not going to be a pretty one to watch. Definitely way too much airtime on the lead up so far. I mean, not worth your time. Go get fucking popcorn. Go jerk off Raul Rosas Jr. if that's what you're into. Some dumb shit like that, But whatever you do, don't backtrack on your word.
No, I definitely agree. I like Rob Font. I like Adrian Yanez. I think it's a decent fight. I don't think it's nearly the fight they're trying to make it out to be. And I don't think either way it shakes loose, it's going to have big enough repercussions like they're trying to pretend it's gonna. But they're building the shit out of it. So, we'll see what it gets. So, that being said, we are going to give the point for round 2 to Golf Tee. Not for Colin Christian to revert his point status, but because I agree that fucking Yanez fight is just getting over fucking played for what it actually is. I like both guys, like I said, but relax, motherfuckers.
Christian, you see that? That's called being unbiased because he didn't want to take me talking trash to you into conversation with that. That's called being unbiased. You should try it sometime.
Oh, that being said, that'll bring us back across here to Golf Tee for our round 3. So in round 3, sir, in our UFC 287 weekend, I dare say there might be more eyes on the co-main event than the main event. But in your opinion, sir, Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal in Miami, who takes it now?
This is going to be a fun one because, to be honest, this may be Jorge's best shot at getting a win over a top 5 opponent right now. And I say this for one reason only. Not because of who he's fighting, because Gilbert Burns is not an easy task. How do we know that? He fucking took Khamzat to the fucking limit. And we haven't seen anybody else do that. So the dude's an obvious bad motherfucker, but it's because he's on home soil. That home soil, being in Miami, sleeping in Miami, training in Miami, that goes a long way when you don't have to travel to fight. I'm just saying. Not that Gilbert is going that far, because he's still training in Florida as well, but it's different. When that fight gets announced, the roof is gonna blow off of that place. It's gonna be similar to fucking going into the UK and fucking having fucking Arnold Allen as a headliner in the UK, or fucking Tom Aspinall or anything like that. So I think we're gonna see that kind of explosion there. But with that being said, Jorge doesn't win this fight. He gets knocked the fuck out. I have a feeling we're gonna see Jorge get KO'd. Gilbert Burns' hands have gotten a lot better. And worst comes worst, even if he can't do that, he will out wrestle him and he will out jiu-jitsu him. Period. This is the last we see of Jorge Masvidal, barring his whole I'm gonna retire thing. Unless he decides all of a sudden, no, I'm not gonna retire. That was a fluke. He got lucky. No, he didn't get lucky, dude. Jorge, I hate to say it, love Street Jesus. I absolutely fucking love Jorge Masvidal. He's done some great things for the sport. It has one of the greatest highlights of all fucking time. But every dog has its day. Jorge's his past. He had that great run go through the fucking BMF and all of that. But his time's over, man. It's time to take him out to pasture and call it a fucking day. Gilbert Burns gets it done, I think, within 3. Or not within 3, within 2. I think he'll take him out in the second round.
Interesting indeed. And that'll bring us back across the octagon, as it were, here to the brother Slowbake. So, 287 co-main event. Durinho versus Gamebred. Who takes it and how?
I want to say Gilbert Burns because I'd like to see him win. But I feel like Gilbert got a little up in his skis after fighting Khamzat, and going into this, he's even talking about he wants to strike with Masvidal. The dude's still a fucking thug. He's still a gangster, street fighter, all that shit. You just stand and trade with Masvidal. That's the only way he's gonna have a chance to win. So Gilbert's best path, obviously, try to take him down and just smother him, wear it on him, just like any grappler would. The same thing that Colby's ass did when they fought last year. That was a horrible fucking fight. I don't see this one going horrible. It's going to be exciting. The fact that Gilbert wants to stand and trade with him. I feel like Jorge's towards the end, but it's just that's the thing. That's where I'm on the fence. Like, I like Gilbert. I'd like to see him win, but if he wins, he's not getting a title shot. If Jorge does what Golfty said, right, the opposite. If Jorge gets a fucking knockout over Gilbert Burns in the first few rounds of the fight, he might just overstep this bullshit of Dana White trying to push Colby Covington, because us as fans will want the 3-piece in a fucking soda moment. If Jorge's able to knock out Gilbert Burns, then we're all going to be like, well, shit, yeah, we still have that moment. Leon's a fucking champ. Who the fuck wouldn't want that fight then? That's where I'm leaning. I think Gilbert's making a mistake by feeling. I somewhat agree with Golf T again that his striking's got better, but I don't think that if it comes down to the striking fight, he's going to beat Jorge Masvidal. I still believe Jorge will win a striking bout.
Interesting. Interesting indeed. I will say, I think you both make very valid points here. I am going to give the point for round 3 to Golf Team. Not that I don't think Christian made some good points here. I just feel like this is really going to go one of two ways. Either Gilbert is going to knock Jorge the fuck out just like Kamaru did, sweat spraying highlight reel fucking moment here, and it's not going to do anything, or Jorge is going to anti-wrestle fuck Gilbert's constant takedown, and submission attempts to get a undeserved hometown decision here. But I feel like it's more likely that Gilbert and Henry Hooft have done enough work, and Jorge is sleeping in them silk sheets, showing off his house MTV crib style to the embedded crew a little too fucking much. And I think he gets clipped. And if he gets clipped and highlight reeled like that by Gilbert, I think the next time we see Gamebred is when he's turning in his UFC gear and going to promote Gamebred Boxing 5. I would love to see the old Jorge Masvidal, the BMF run Jorge Masvidal resurge, show up, beat the shit out of Gilbert Burns and go 3-piece and a what, bitch? Come get some. And then just call that fucking moron completely out of left field back into the obscurity and let Leon completely demand that fucking title fight in London. It'll be great. Everyone wins. That's what I'm hoping for. But I think Gilbert's gonna fuck him up. I think Jorge has caught himself a case of McGregoritis, and silk sheets got to him. We'll see, though. We'll find out this weekend for damn sure. That being said, that'll bring us to round 4. Round 4, sir. We discuss our main event of the evening. The marquee, the reason for the season, the run back, one of the most anticipated rematches in UFC history. So, Mr. Slowbake, I ask you, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira for the middleweight championship belt. Who wins it and how, sir?
I'm really interested and excited for this fight. I was not blown away, but definitely surprised that Pereira got the win. I did think it was an early stoppage. I didn't really think Izzy was hurt, but I did not think he was out, and he was still trying to move. We'll see how things go. He had won the fight up to that point. Had that fight not been stopped, it goes to the decision. We all know Izzy's probably going to win, but at the same time, he's now lost 3 fights to Alex Pereira. So it just seems like perhaps that's life. You can't get past this guy. I like how Izzy this week said this is like his Eminem moment. He's got one last chance. Don't miss your chance. Don't miss the fucking shot. Like, it's very true, because what's left for him if he loses this fight? It's similar to where Kamaru Usman's at now that he lost that rematch to Leon. He may want to keep fighting, but in all honesty, I don't see him getting back to being a champion. So if Izzy loses this weekend, it's the same bout. And you move up to 205, I don't see Izzy having a great time against Jamal Hill, in all honesty, the current champion, let alone Yuri. So I just don't know what would be left for Izzy. I hope he gets it done. I really like Izzy. He's an awesome dude, a hell of a showman, and a superstar, a fantastic fighter. But I just still feel that way. Like deep inside my gut, Pereira's just got his number. Izzy can't beat him. That's just the way life's going to shake out. I don't see him getting finished, but I just see him losing the fight again. It's just pretty much going to be in another kickboxing match. I'd like to see Izzy win, but I just don't think he can get it. It's just how life is shaking out. You lose 3 fights, you just. If I had to put any money on it, I'm putting it on Pereira.
No, I understand. I get it. So that'll bring us back across the octagon, as it were. Golf tee. We have got Alex Pereira now defending the middleweight belt against the man that he took it off of, his proverbial adversary across the combat sports realm, Israel Adesanya. So, in this rematch under the UFC banner in Miami, who takes it now?
Let's start with this. They should have named this instead of UFC 287. They should have named it UFC Insanity. For this reason, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, exactly the same, and expecting different results. That's the fucking definition of insanity. Right now, this fight is literally, in my opinion, insanity. Because I think we're going to see the same thing that we've seen the last 3 times that these guys have matched up, twice in kickboxing, once in MMA. We're going to see Izzy run the fucking tables, be ahead on the scorecards, up until the very end, where Alex catches his fucking number. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Obviously, Alex has the much more power than fucking Izzy does, because he can end it in 1. We haven't seen Izzy have that kind of power on a lot of guys. There's only been a few of those situations, but Alex seems to be that guy. When he comes out, he finishes people, and it doesn't take more than 1 or 2 shots. So we're going to see the definition of insanity. I'm not changing my fucking thing from the beginning of the fucking night to now, because I feel the same way. Israel Adesanya is Superman in the middleweight division. Unfortunately, Alex Pereira is fucking kryptonite. That arch nemesis thing, he's kind of fucking there. Unfortunately, I think we see the death of Superman here. And it's going to go the same way as the last fucking 3. Adesanya will dominate the entire fight until he gets caught. He will be ahead on all of the scorecards until he gets caught. He will get put out again. It's a sad thing to say, because I love Izzy. He's a great champ. He's an amazing human being, a great fucking ambassador for the sport. If you look the shit where he stops to deal with fans, how he deals with fans, he's the epitome of the kind of guy you want at the head of your company. That guy who is that limelight. He will continue to be a star like that. Unfortunately, I think in this aspect, he's going to be a star without a title, unfortunately. Don't get me wrong, much better than the star that Conor McGregor is, because, well, Conor McGregor is kind of a douchebag. As much as we all enjoy his shenaniganry, kind of a fucking douchebag. He's not to the douchebaggery level of like a John Jones, but still the douchebag. Israel Adesanya is the polar opposite. He's the guy that you want as the fucking face of your company, the golden goat, as it were. Unfortunately, it's gonna go the same way. I have a hard time seeing anything else other than that. Even though I really want to see Izzy come out and finish Alex in just a fucking wild fashion. I know that's not going to be the case, just because he's the same fighter he has been, and unless he's made some drastic change in the last fucking 6 months, which that's hard to do, we see insanity.
I gotta say, I do agree. It very much seems a lot of doing the same rinse and repeat shit, and that definitely sucks. I also, though, very much feel that Alex Pereira is one of those dudes who doesn't really expand his game a whole lot. If you watch some of his early kickboxing fights, they look almost identical to how he just took that belt off of Adesanya. Like, he very much does the same shit. As much as Glover wants to try and help him, and you can tell Glover is pouring his heart and fucking soul into trying to help Pereira become the next thing. Pereira just, to me, really feels like he is the definition of doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
The problem is he's getting results with it, so it's all right. Instead,
I
Izzy's
agree.
side where we have to think insanity because
I
doing the same
agree.
shit too. It's weird. Like that's why I said the whole fight insanity. It's
Yeah,
literally
no,
the same thing over and over between these guys.
I agree. I agree. I will say though, point for round 4. We're gonna give to Slowbake here. Mom spaghetti, man. It's not easy. It's definitely uphill, but I think Adesanya has enough adaptability and Pereira stays enough in that same fucking lane that it's gonna come back to bite him in the ass here. I think Izzy understands, like he said, he's made his own fucking boogeyman here, and now he's got to fucking deal with it. So I think he's going to. I hope all my things are crossed. So hopefully Izzy can pull it out and fucking bring one back for us, but we will see. That being said, though, if you are paying attention up until this point, and if you can maths, that means that you are aware we are now all tied up heading into round 5, sudden death, winner take all, the point for the match. And in round 5, we have 0 to do with the weekend at hand. So before we take down this final round, I do want to take just a moment here and remind the fine folks that in approximately 7 hours at 7:30 a.m. Central Time, Friday morning, ONE FC Friday night fights, basically an entire Muay Thai card with 2 MMA matches thrown in the middle, is going to be out. So breakfast combat sports. And then tomorrow evening, at 6 p.m. Central Time, PFL, the second event of the regular season, kicks off, headlined by Julia Budd versus Larissa Pacheco at 145 pounds. So definitely an interesting fight to keep an eye on if you need some punchy kicky tomorrow night. That being said,
Oh, before
Christian,
you
go ahead.
before you do that, I just want to say a shout out to fucking Izzy for one thing that I absolutely love. Did anybody catch him channeling his inner Jet Li during the fucking face off? If you don't know what I'm talking about, that collar that he had around his neck
The one
was a reference. Yes, go watch the fucking movie. You'll understand. It's fucking amazing. Was a fucking fantastic way to say I'm caged right now, but I am coming uncaged.
I am coming unhinged. Yeah, it's about to be on. I was very, very enthused with that. So, that being said, Christian, since you got to choose the order of the show here, Golf Tea, I will give you the prerogative. Would you like to answer round 5 first, or would you like to choose the question that you gentlemen answered?
I want to choose the question. I never get to choose the fucking question, so let's choose the question.
All right. So, Christian, would you like to answer first, or would you like to keep Golf Tea in that first position for the questions here?
I'm gonna keep him going first.
All right.
Ooh, I
So,
get to choose
Golf
my own
Tea.
fate. This is great.
I was just gonna say you get to literally
It's like
decide
a
your own
fucking
fate here.
90s,
So,
like an early 90s adventure book. Let's do this.
1 through 8, sir. The postcards of fate await you.
I think we're gonna go with 5.
5?
5.
All right.
Cinco. Actually, wait a minute. No, it's Thursday. Don't take 5 off. We have exactly 7 days till I take off from here. So 7. We're going fucking 7. Change that back.
I was just about to reach for 5, so we'll go back.
We're going 7. Leave for Kansas City in 7 days. Fucking 7.
All right.
Lucky
so,
number 7. Maybe not
postcard
lucky.
number 7 here. Ooh, this is a good one. Round number 5, Golf Tea. Who starts and ends 2023 with a belt?
Ooh. Ooh. Oh, fuck.
That list's getting real short.
It really is, because there's been a lot of fuckery with belts lately.
I was wondering when we were going to get that card pulled.
I don't want to pick the low hanging fruit because I know the lowest hanging fruit that's gonna stay the way it is. So we're gonna shy away from that. I'm gonna go with what I think is gonna be a little tougher for them. I think Brandon Moreno is gonna be that guy who starts and ends it with 2023. My opinion, the lowest hanging fruit out there is Islam Makhachev. I don't think there's going to be anybody right now that can beat him, except for possible Fiziev, but I don't know that they're going to get Fiziev to him after fucking losing the Gaethje, and that would be the only possibility I would see. But I really think we're going to see old Brandon Moreno keeping the belt in Mexico there for the entirety of the year again. Because I mean, he's off Davidson Figueiredo. He's tore through quite a few people that are in that top 10. So I'm saying there's a good chance of him staying where he's at.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that brings us back across the octagon, as it were. Flowbake, round 5 comes back to you, sir. Who starts and ends 2023 with the belt?
Well, I agree with Golf Tee on the low hanging fruit thing with Islam a little bit. But before you said that, I was thinking Volkanovski.
That's
When you
the
said low
lowest
hanging
possibly hanging fruit.
yeah,
That's
because
pretty low as well.
Volk keeping the featherweight title, I don't think that's changing hands this year. But my pick, I'm gonna say Jamal Hill. Even if Yuri comes back this year and they get that fight, I'm excited as fuck for that. I hope we get it. I want to see it because of how good Yuri has looked, but then how good Jamal Hill looked against Glover Teixeira. The biggest thing was the growth that Jamal had made from his last fight to that point in really a short time. He didn't have a very long camp to prepare for it because of the shitty fight at the end of the year between Jan and Magomed, and just snap of a finger, Dana White's like, well, I hated that shit. Let's fucking do this. Next month it's on. He trained with Anthony Smith and everything. He was able to really work the fucking takedown defense. If he can continue to grow his game, I really think he's got a solid chance with what we've seen out of him to actually beat Yuri. So, and we don't know everything that we had heard. He might actually be out for the 2 years, even though he keeps saying that it was only going to be 6 months. We don't actually know when we're going to see Yuri because we haven't heard shit about it at all. We damn sure know he's not cleared for anything. He's not healthy right now. And Jamal Hill's probably going to want to fight sooner than later this summer, the end of the summer. And he said he will fight somebody else if Yuri's not going to be back soon enough. And if he fights again this year, he probably won't fight again towards the end of the year. I definitely feel like Jamal Hill, even if they get that Yuri fight, he's got a serious chance to hold that damn thing and be the champ again next year. It might take a while before somebody takes it from him, in all honesty. Even though I love Anthony Smith and I'd love to see it happen, I don't think Anthony actually beats Jamal. I don't think there's anybody right now. Maybe Alexander Rakic would be interesting too, just like Yuri, but I also don't know about his health. Haven't heard anything about him. So I think Jamal's going to hold on to it.
Interesting points on both sides here.
You know,
I will say,
one other low hanging fruit we forgot to mention, as much as I hate to say it, John Jones.
Yep.
See, I didn't even consider John Jones because he didn't start the year with the belt. He waited.
Yeah.
He had to come partway in and then get the belt, so I didn't even put him on the list. I was thinking low hanging fruit was Amanda.
And I think Wiley too. As much as I hate to, because I don't think we're seeing Rose come back this year.
Yeah, I don't either. And especially with Carla announcing, like I talked about in the news segment, now she's pregnant. She's going to be out till at least middle of next year at the earliest because she's going to have a baby in September. there's the number one competitor for Wei Li. Like, who else is there really down there?
You know,
And it's not like they're going to bring her against Grasso, because Grasso's got to fight Valentina again first before that's a possibility. That takes up most of the year.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of that, just an off note here before you make your call. I think I know why Esparza got pregnant. That was, if we think about this, the baby's doing, they said September, right?
Yeah, September.
Right after she lost the title, when she conceived. So that was I need to feel better. Come on, baby, do your thing, get in the bedroom. Because
Right.
you look at her husband, he ain't a fighter. Definitely not. She beat him into submission for that baby. She needed to get a win somewhere. She won it in the bedroom.
Yeah. She won that decision by snoo snoo. No, I will say good points on both sides here. Moreno, I absolutely have a very strong feeling there's a good chance he's going to finish the year with that belt as well. And I think as much as I hate to say it, I do think part of it is because Figgy is now focused on moving up rather than rematching Moreno, because we saw when Figgy put his mind to the rematch, we saw a different Figgy. But now that he's already completely moved on mentally, I don't think we can get back to the guy he would need to be to take the belt back again. So I think Figgy is gone, and I think Moreno is going to hold that one solid, though. But I do have to say, I did not think about Jamal Hill. The fact that he was training with Anthony Smith, literally went to his fucking competition to help learn some fucking tricks and evolve his game a little bit. It is a very valid fucking point here. So we are giving the point for round 5 and and the win overall to Slobe. That Jamal Hill point, bravo, sir. I didn't even fucking think about it. And not to mention, where you at though?
Yeah, I want to see that fucking shit.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. That's what she said. Like,
It's
fucking
gonna be such a good fucking fight, such a good lead up.
yeah. Way to lean into the
Yuri's
everything they put
getting
at
good
him.
with the English, so that there would be a really good back and forth between those.
Yeah. Yeah, well done, both of you gentlemen. I definitely agree. That is a fucking spectacular answer. So that being said, that is all we've got for this particular episode. If you like what we get up to around here, make sure you don't miss an episode live Thursday nights, 9:30-ish Central Standard Time here on youtube.com/ImNoJoe. Every weekend there is Punchy Kiki to talk about. The following week, anchor.fm/ImNoJoe, until Spotify changes that later, for the all audio format of the podcast. And there is a poll up right now as well, because Spotify is also offering us an option to put the video format of the podcast up. It would still go a week late, but over on there, because Spotify basically has bought and absorbed Anchor and is now turning it into a Spotify branch. So they have an option for it, but I'm not going to make that decision because I don't know if there's enough demand for that on Spotify, since this is where the audio goes up. If you were listening to this on Spotify, would you rather have the video version that comes out with the audio version that would still come out as well at the same time? If not, tell us no. We won't give it to you. You can still keep the fucking audio version, but it's up there. You get to have a say in it. That being said, if you'd like to help out what we get up to around here, patreon.com/ImNoJoe is the best way to do that. For as little as $1 a month, you get your name as a thank you at the end of every broadcast on this channel, and you get unfettered access to behind the scenes, unaired and literally unairable content, things that we legally cannot show you without putting it behind a paywall and verifying you are of age for only $1. Come on, how big of a deal? That being said, if you don't like what we get up to around here, first and foremost, what the fuck are you still doing this deep into a podcast you don't enjoy? Give it a thumbs down and go fuck yourself. We won't even dispute it. That being said, Thursday night is not the end. Just because the show is over doesn't mean the fun is over. Tomorrow morning and pretty much every Friday morning, you can take your happy ass on over to Spreaker.com/slowbaconcontemplate and catch that fucking guy and Vindog the Booty Hog doing their own damn thing on their podcast Friday morning. If you want to holler at them, their socials are all down in the description as well. And those beautiful bastards also have their own channel on the I'm No Joe Discord server. You can go holler at them over there as well. Can't believe it.
Appreciate that, brother. And then we'll throw it on along. You can't fucking miss out every Wednesday night. Brother Golf T on his channel here on YouTube as well. Golf T Vapes, same time, around 9:30-ish Central Time. He going live. He talking about vapes, making up recipes, just chilling, having a good fucking time. Make sure you hop in. Tune in every Wednesday night around 9:30. Show the brother some love. And of course, we've got to show the brother some extra love because next fucking weekend would not be possible if it was not for the brother Golf T Vapes. Got to show that fucking love. Appreciate you for fucking hooking us up with the tickets. Can't fucking wait to meet you in real life other than getting to see each other on a fucking little screen.
Better keep your guard high, goddammit. Thanks. Yeah. Now that we've had all of our fun here tonight, before I do this, Don, I know you're listening. Pack your fucking bags. We're leaving on Thursday. Fucking, I'm honking. You better come out running. That's how this is gonna work. Otherwise, you're fucking walking. Now, if you want to know about more of what the meter does and what the meter gets into, because the meter does do many things, go down below, click on the link where it says Linktree/the meter does many things. That will take you to all of the links for all of the things that the meter does do. So again, that's Linktree/the meter does many things. Go check out everything that the meter does.
Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. That being said, that is all we have got for this episode. Thank you very much. Whether you were here watching us live, chilling and chatting, you are catching this on a replay, we appreciate you just the same. That being said, that is all we've got for this particular episode. So until next time, boys and girls, remember, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything, unless you think presidential security carries over once you're out of office. It's 34?
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times.